And now comes the moment we have all been waiting for, the installation of Vincent Edward Price as the 10th president of Duke University. We've been preparing for this moment for a long time, and I feel compelled to tell you a little bit about how we got here. Today's ceremony is the culmination of a very long process that began when Dick Broadhead announced that he would be stepping down after serving 13 years as president. I was deeply honored to chair the search committee for his successor. There are two things that Vince said to us during the search that convinced me that he was absolutely the right person for the job. Vince first described his academic qualifications by saying he was a quantitative social scientist with a humanistic background and a love for the arts. I believe this perfectly reflects Duke's identity. We embrace rigorous and cutting-edge scientific research, but we are also firmly committed to the humanistic values of a liberal education. So we knew Vince would be a good match here culturally, but we were looking for a president with a vision, an understanding of how to build on Duke's histories and strengths and make bold decisions to project us to an even stronger future. Toward the end of the search process, Vince said something that has stuck with me ever since. When asked why he was drawn to the job of Duke president, he answered, "I love the energy that comes from being the vehicle of collective ambition." This was very reflective of a phrase from a previous Duke president, Terry Sanford, who described Duke as a place of outrageous ambition. Anyone who has spent even 2 minutes with Vince knows that he's not lacking in energy. But as soon as I heard him say the vehicle of collective ambition, I knew that he understood what's special about Duke. We're strivers. We're a younger institution than our peers, and we have worked hard to get where we are. What sets us apart is not our history, though it is storied, or our reputation, though we have a great one. What sets us apart, rather, is our grand collective and outrageous ambition, the idea that the students, faculty, staff, and alumni of Duke University make up a community that is greater than the sum of its parts. The idea that together we are capable of redefining higher education in the 21st century, that together we are capable of transformational service to our communities, our region, our nation, and indeed the world. In investing Vincent Price with the power of this office, we are selecting him to be the vehicle of our collective and outrageous ambition. We are putting our trust in him and urging him to be our guide through the many challenges and opportunities to come. I tell you with great confidence, on behalf of the search committee and the Board of Trustees of Duke University, we could not have made a wiser choice. It is now my honor to present the formal symbols and instruments of your office. Dr. Price, please join me at the podium. In reading back through the inaugurations past, I was struck by how little this ceremony has changed over the years. The continuity of our traditions and the solemn nature in which we confer the presidency reflects both this institution's long history and the great responsibilities of the office. In that spirit, I will today use the procedure that was first followed at President Few's inauguration in 1910, words that were last heard at President Broadhead's induction in 2004. I am commissioned by the Board of Trustees to first present you with the charter of this institution. It bears the Great Seal of the State of North Carolina and confers upon this university all of its rights and privileges as an educational institution. I also present to you the seal of the university, which underscores Duke's commitment to knowledge and faith. It has been impressed upon the great documents of Duke's history as a mark of dignity and a guarantee of this institution's values and honor. I also present you with a copy of Duke University's bylaws, which should guide you in the administration of your office. These bylaws state that the official purpose of this university is to advance learning in all lines of truth, to defend scholarship against all false notions and ideals, to develop a love for freedom and truth, to promote a sincere spirit of tolerance, to discourage partisan and sectarian strife, and to render the largest permanent service to the individual, the state, and the nation. Finally, I present you the chain of the office of the President, which represents the responsibility of the office and reflects our historical connection to a system of higher education that is nearly a millennium old. You are called upon to wear this chain at all formal academic functions. Having presented you with the formal instruments of office, I now call upon my dear friend Ellen Davis, the Amos Reagan Kearns Distinguished Professor of Bible and Practical Theology and Vice Chair of the Presidential Search Committee, to offer a blessing of this installation. Ellen.
Vince, now truly President Price, you have moved to the South, where spoken blessings are part of common linguistic practice. But as you know better than most of us, interpreting speech practices is a complex matter, sensitive to social context. So before I pronounce a blessing on behalf of us all, I begin by distinguishing 3 different kinds of Southern blessing in ascending order of desirability. The first is blessing somebody out. This linguistic usage is the epitome of a certain Southern tradition of indirect speech. This is not the occasion for an example, but suffice it to say that being blessed out is never pleasant and rarely edifying. May it not happen to you. The second, more common usage is the phrase, bless his heart. This phrase is ambiguous and highly context sensitive. Tone of voice is important here. Bless his heart. Often that means this guy really needs to get his act together. May it not often be said of you. The third kind of blessing, which we offer now, is a distinctly good thing and proper for this occasion. Blessing is an acknowledgement of the power for good that resides in every person and in all of us together. Yet it points to something not wholly within our own power, Many of us would call that the power of God working in and through us. To paraphrase words made famous by our great Southerner Martin Luther King, offering a blessing is an acknowledgement that the arc of the universe is long, but it bends toward goodness, toward flourishing, toward life. As we now offer a blessing for you, we are putting our collective spiritual weight into that bent, leaning with you toward realization of that goodness. The theists among us would say that we now pray God's blessing upon you and upon this university under your leadership. Vince, we seek the good of this place through you, that you may be among us a true educator in the philological sense, educare, one who leads us out, draws us into an ever-enlarging realm of intellectual possibilities and modes of moral engagement. May your visionary leadership inspire faculty, staff, trustees, and advisors to live generously into our own humanity as we do our best work for this university, the wider community, and society as a whole. With you, Vince, we seek well-being for the most promising members of this community, the students for whose sake the university exists. May they find Duke to be a true intellectual home, where the genuine needs of each are recognized, the particular gifts of each are honored, and each one receives the encouragement and guidance necessary for the practice of humility, which is nothing other than the patient pursuit of one's own excellence. We seek good for your family in the new home that you and Annette now make among us. May it be a place where you, with Sarah and Alexander, find peace and rest, as well as joy and excitement that does not flag. May every sacrifice your work requires be more than repaid in seeing this community thrive because of your presence among us, in the personal enrichment you experience, and in the depth of our gratitude expressed throughout the years to come. And for you, Vincent, we seek above all continued growth in wisdom, that subtle and supple disposition of mind and spirit, more mobile than any motion, as one ancient sage said. Wisdom is steadfast and finally irresistible, for it is grounded in love of what is good and beautiful, and it tirelessly seeks the renewal of all things, the flourishing of all people. May the spirit of wisdom prevail in our time, in your time in this good place. That is our blessing for you, our new president, and our friend.
We, the trustees of Duke University, have chosen you to the presidency of this university. By their orders, it is now my distinct honor to invest you with all the dignity, privileges, and authority of this office, and pray that you be granted wisdom, patience, courage, humor, and strength to do all the things required of you. Please join me in welcoming Vincent Edward Price, the 10th President of Duke University.